Yo guys, what's up? Sleepio here. Today I have another assault rifle PvP build for you. And this one would also work if the changes from the PTS go through how they are right now. So with all the nerfs to the talents we like, for example Safeguard and Berserk. That means that build wouldn't be affected at all by any changes of the PTS, at least right now. Obviously I don't know if they will change more stuff, or if the changes from the PTS now even go into the live game. I think that build could be even better than the other AR, the best assault rifle build that I made on my channel, but only in certain situations. So my other one had Berserk, and obviously if you have Berserk up right now, then you get 100% more damage and nothing really beats that. So yeah, that's that. But that build is definitely more consistent and you don't have to be on no armor. As always, I will start with the specialization first. So again, I'm running the sharpshooter specialization because in my eyes it is just the best for basically all the builds, since you will always get the 25 headshot damage, the 30% reload speed, and also the stability. And nothing really beats that. I mean, sure, the other specializations will give you 15% LMG damage or 15% AR damage, but I don't know. I think that one is still the best, just because the reload speed and the headshot damage. So yeah, I'm running sharpshooter, but for an AR build you could also run survivalist. So to the actual build now, and as you can maybe already see, yes, I am running compensated on my gloves. And yes, I bashed that talent before in my other videos. And I will also explain why I don't really wanna run that on that build, because there is a better option. But that is probably the hardest build I ever farmed for, because you have to get so many god roll pieces to make it work how I wanted to, and that is pretty hard, I have to admit. I will go over my build, but then I will also show the perfect version of the build. So let me start quick with the guns. For that build I have 3 guns that I would consider running. First it's the AK, because it hits pretty hard, it hits like a truck, you know. It is one of my favorite ARs. Even in Division, I liked the AKs all the time, but they were just so underpowered compared to the M4 that it was no point in using them. Now in Division 2, they're actually usable, and yeah, I just like the AK, I guess. As you can see, I have only 600 RPM because I run optimized here. You could also go Allegro, but yeah, I didn't get a god roll yet with Allegro, so that's why I have optimized. As a talent on all 3 ARs, by the way, you just want Optimist with that build, because you will never go over 5 offensives. To my mods, so the only special mod, I guess, is the scope, because I have an ACOG here, which just gives me optimal range, which, yeah, is kind of useless to the build, but I will explain you in a second. Just keep in mind that it's 4 times, so you can go in first person with that scope. Then as magazine, I just have a 10 round mag. I think you get it from control points. There's also a 20 round mag, I think, that you can get from Weekly Project, but I didn't get that lucky yet. And then, yeah, as underbarrel and muzzle, I just have 10% accuracy. So, to the scope now. The reason I run that scope is because of my secondary, and that is the Nemesis Exotic Sniper. If you don't know what that is, I made a review about that weapon, and also how to get it. I will link the video in the description. I'm running that because of the holster talent, which is preparation. While holstered, gain 25% headshot damage when scoped with your current weapon. And yeah, since I have a scope that can actually scope in, those 25% headshot damage will also apply to that gun, and I don't even have to scope in for that. And yeah, that's the only reason why I run that. If that wouldn't work, I would just also run accuracy on the scope. And if you don't have that sniper, then just run the Shadowbox. Because the 20% rate of fire is still more DPS than the headshots, but the headshots are more consistent, and it also kind of forces me to aim for the head. So as secondary, either the Nemesis or the Shadowbox, they are both fine. Quickly to the other 2 guns I would consider using, that is the custom P416. Basically the same talents, Optimist, Allegro, and holster, doesn't really matter. And the third gun is the Farmers. I had that in my other AR build. I think the Farmers is also pretty nice. It has a really high RPM. The Maxus is not that good, that's why I would run extra on that one. Get a bit more magazine capacity, that's pretty helpful with the Farmers for sure. And that's the guns I would consider. So no M4 and also no Theta, okay? Let's talk about the gear itself now. So as you can see, my brand stats are all over the place. I have 3-piece Gita guard, which is completely dog shit for every PvP build, if you would ask me. But there's a simple reason for that. As you can already maybe see, there's a lot of mod slots in my gear. And you need those mod slots to get so many attributes. So I have 388. That is 19 attributes. And That's a lot, I can tell you already. But let's start with the mask. So as I said, it's a Gila Guard mask. As attributes, you want health and skill power. What really matters here though is not the actual stats, because I know how hard it is to get the health and skill power here. Health and skill power would be the perfect two attributes, but as long as you have a defensive one and a utility one, it's fine. If it's health and kill, then sure, whatever. And as talents, I will just go dialed in here, because I stack a lot of accuracy and that will help me with some stability, even though you don't need it on ARs. But that's the same mask I run on my LMG build, so it's kind of helpful for LMGs, I guess. As mods, you have a utility protocol mod slot, and yeah, you just take some extra skill power here. The chest is a Fenris chest, kind of obvious for an AR build. You get the 10% assault rifle damage on here. And as attributes, you would actually want something like that. Yeah, high weapon damage, or high armor, and then skill power. So one of each attribute right here. Since there's 4 variations of the Fenris chest, you want that Stritz vest, combat vest, alright? So that's the only chest that rolls with a offensive system mod slot. And yeah, in that one you could use a mod that would give you up to 6.5% more damage. That's just mixed with AR damage and weapon damage. So that is the wrong mod right here, but as I said, you can get up to 6.5% more damage with just one god roll mod. Back to my chest. I have bonus armor, weapon damage, and health here. As talents, you want Unstoppable Force and Hardened. And yes, Unstoppable Force is pretty good for PvP as well, because most of the time, if you go against a solo player, you will kill him anyways. That's at least my experience. But if you go against a team of 2 or more, then yeah, you can just kill one guy, or even down him. Downing is enough, then you get the Unstoppable Force buff. With that high armor, you will get a lot more damage. So I think that's 54% more damage with 270k armor. I could get a little bit more here, maybe 280k, but that's well, you won't get more than that. And my second talent or passive talent is Hardened, just to buff up that armor a little bit more. As mod, I have an offensive system mod here because the chest is the right chest, the chest that I want. Just the attributes are not god roll. And as you can see here, I have a pretty good mod actually, 1.5 weapon damage, 3 assault, and 1% damage to health. I would actually rather have damage to armor here, because that's much better than damage to health. My holster is a Douglas & Harding holster, and what's important about that one is that it has to be the Mora holster, because the Mora holster from Douglas & Harding has a utility system slot, which as you can see is modded with a offensive mod that counts towards my utility, since it is a utility system mod. Maybe you don't have that, but then just put in a normal utility mod, I guess. You also want the skill power attribute here, because it gives you utility, and with the perfect build, you will actually need a lot of those pieces that I have right now here. So basically my mask, the one chest I have right here, that one, and also my holster, they are already god roll. I don't need better. But the backpack and the gloves, they are not god roll yet, and that's the reason why I have 388 now, because obviously you don't need 8, you just need 7. But I mean, there's no point in just unequipping one of those mods to get 7, right? My backpack right now is a big horn pack, but you actually want the Gila inventory system backpack. I will tell you in a second when I come to the perfect build why that's important. But yeah, let me go over the one that I have right now. So it is a Gila Guard piece again, and from Gila Guard you actually get 5% armor, 20% hazard protection, and also 15% pull skill power. The armor and hazard protection is pretty nice, I have to say, but the pull skill power is completely useless. As attributes, I have bonus armor, cooldown reduction, and skill power. Sadly, the bonus armor is pretty low, but what can you do? I would like to have a higher one, but RNG is a bitch, right? To the talents, and those are pretty important to the build. So you want on the ropes, weapon damage is increased by 25%, while all skills are on cooldown. The requirements are 7 or more utility, and that's why this build is so AIDS to make. Because 7 utility just for one talent, yeah. First I thought, no, I don't want that. But what I didn't know back then is how on the ropes actually works. As the talent description states, all skills have to be on cooldown for it to be active. So yeah, let me quickly put my hive on cooldown. I just put it down, pop it, and it's on 100-second cooldown. And now, as you can see, I have 4 cam launcher charges. If I pop one, on the ropes is active. And I didn't think that is how it works. I thought you have to pop all of them, so it's active. But since the cam launcher instantly goes on cooldown as soon as you pop one charge, it is enough to pop one charge and it's already active. You don't have to pop all of them. As you can see now, I will get one back. It's still active because I have 4 charges, right? And that is pretty insane. I didn't think it would work that way. And I don't think it should work that way because I don't think that's intended. But as long as it works that way, it on the ropes is actually a really good talent. And yeah, if I would have known that, I would have definitely made a on the ropes build earlier. But I just didn't know. As second talent, you want Hardened, again to just boost up your armor and get more value from Unstoppable Force. The mods on the Big Horn pack are always the same. You will have 1 defensive and 1 utility. And on the defensive system, I have plus 4% total armor and some bonus armor. If I had another generic mod with AR damage, I would also put that in here instead of the armor, because 5 or even 6% assault rifle damage will be better than 10,000 armor, which would give me 2% from Unstoppable Force in the end. As utility mod, you just want something with high skill power to boost it up even further. As gloves, I have the Jarl gloves, and they give me weapon handling as one piece. And I think weapon handling is pretty underrated right now. It's pretty strong, I have to say, so it's definitely not bad. But that's not the gloves I would like to have here. I would rather have the Alps Summit gloves, but not the hybrid FL ones. The ones I'm looking for, they have a passive talent, so devastating, and also assault rifle damage. But then they also have a utility protocol mod slot, which would replace the skill power roll I have on my gloves right now. But I will come to that in a second when I go over the perfect build. My current gloves have skill power and 6% AR damage. The 6% is already the max. It could be, I don't know, it could be up to 8, I think, and then lower skill power, obviously. They also have compensated, and I mean, if I only have 3 offensive, and I can't even get more offensive stats, right? As you can see, all my mods are full, so I couldn't even get more offensive even if I wanted to. It just doesn't make sense to run anything else than compensated. It's just 15% free weapon damage. But, and that's a big but, devastating with 2 offensive mod slots will still be better. And I will show you how to do that in a second. But you need the god roll pieces for that. Lastly, to my knee pads, they are also Gila Guard, and there's only one variation of the Gila Guard knee pads. It's the Sidewinder knee pads. The only 2 defensive attributes they can roll are health and bonus armor, and you are just looking for bonus armor here. Those knee pads will also always have 2 defensive mods, 1 defensive system and 1 defensive protocol. And yeah, on the system mod, if you can, you should just go with a generic system mod and get more AR damage here, since it will count to your defensive stats and not your offensive stats. And in the protocol mod, you just put some high health rolls in there. Lastly, I will show you my stats with the AK I've equipped right now. So I have 22,460 weapon damage. That's with all the weapon damage I have on my gear calculated in, besides compensated, that is not calculated in the gun. I don't know why, but it isn't, believe me on that one. Have a reload time of 1.9 seconds, and yeah, some accuracy, some stability. I also have 25% weapon handling, since I have optimized and the one piece from Jarl. So that boosts my weapon stability and accuracy up by a lot. And to top it off, I have 15% all weapon damage bonus, which is basically 30% if you count in compensated, and then another 25 if you count in on the ropes, and then another 54 if you count in Unstoppable Force. So as you can see, with all the buffs that I could get with that build, which are actually pretty easy to get, my weapon damage is well over 100. If the changes from the PTS go through, then I will definitely play that as my main AR build, but I'm pretty sure LMGs will still be better, because I have the exact same build as LMG build. Right here, quick teaser, I will make that build soon as well. Before I show you the best version of that build that I found out so far, I will go over my skills real quick. So I'm running the Booster Hive, gives me 20% more movement speed. I use that skill in all my builds now because I don't like the Defender drone, and obviously I can't complain about it when I play it myself, right? And second or main skill, I have the Cam Launcher Reinforcer mod. Now to the perfect AR PvP build that I figured out so far. The site I'm on right now is divisionbuilder.com. It's a pretty nice site, and I will link you that exact build in the description below. So if you look right here at the stats first, I have 5 offensive, 7 defensive, and 7 utility. And that is exactly what you are aiming for. That is the perfect build. The total armor and health here doesn't really matter. I don't think that is correct. So as guns, I don't want to go too deep into that again. But yeah, either the AK, the P416, or the Farmers. As a secondary, the Nemesis. Sadly, that side doesn't have it yet, so I just took a random sniper here. The pieces you will have with that build are 3-piece Gila Guard, 1-piece Alps Summit, 1-piece Douglas Harding, and 1-piece Fenris. My mask is still a Gila Guard mask. It's the Javelina mask with health and skill power, and then a skill power mod. The talent is still the same, it's dialed in. My backpack is still a Gila Guard backpack, but it's a Gila inventory system one this time, so not the big horn pack. As attributes, you want armor, weapon damage, and skill power here. That's just some random values because the site doesn't show you the cap of that. So I could basically type in 100k here. It would still accept it, right? So that's just some random values. I try to keep them as realistic as possible. Then on that backpack, you will actually have a defensive mod and an offensive mod. And that offensive mod will allow you to get 5 offensive stats. And on that offensive mod, that's also some random values, but you want something like that. 1.5 weapon damage, 4 AR, and 1 damage to armor. Something like that, so you get to 6.5% more damage. And on the defensive mode, you just want something like 1000 armor and then 4.5% bonus armor. Or also a generic system mod with 5 or 6% AR damage. The talents are still the same on the ropes and hardened. The chest is still a Fenris chest, and as you maybe remember, I had that exact same chest in the video with weapon damage, armor, and skill power. So I already have a god roll chest. But yeah, I just missed the backpack and the gloves right now, as I said. Then as mod, you just want assault rifle damage. Since it is a generic mod, you can get up to 6% just assault rifle damage, nothing else there. Talents are still the same, unstoppable force and hardened. Now to the second different piece, the gloves. This time they are Alps Summit, and it has to be the salvaged hybrid FL gloves, because those have a passive talent, and that could be devastating or precise. I would probably go for precise here, and not devastating twice, because I'm able to hit headshots, and yeah, I just like to have some high headshot damage. The attributes is something like 10 AR damage, could be 11 as well, I don't know. And yeah, the utility mod will just be some random value as well here, 150 skill power, something like that. The holster is still the same. It's a Douglas Harding Mora holster system with skill power and the utility mod. And yeah, again, either devastating or precise here. And lastly, the knee pads. They are also the same Gila Guard Sidewinder knee pads with armor and then 2 defensive mods. So that one mod is a protocol mod, and yeah, you just get some extra health here. The other one is a system mod. So again, if you have those God roll 6% AR damage system mods from low level, use those. And if you don't, just use something like that, 4.5% total armor and 1000 armor, something like that, you know. My stats with that God roll build would be still 80% headshot damage, 29.5 all weapon damage bonus, and 30% AR damage bonus. Plus the 25% from on the ropes and 54% from unstoppable force. That would put me on a total of 138.5% to all weapon damage, I think. So yeah, that is quite insane, I have to say. And that is nearly as good as having Berserk up 100% of the time. So yeah, that build is really insane, I have to say. I didn't think it can be that good. But yeah, good luck getting that perfect version of the build, because that is literally the only version you can play it with 577. If you don't have that, then yeah, just play the version I have with 388 or 377, whatever you can get. But if you play with 3 offensive, then you should definitely play compensated. Today I won't have gameplay with the build. I hope you enjoyed watching anyways. And as always, if you like my content and want to support me, then drop a like and maybe subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and see you in my next video. Bye!